Welcome to a new episode of Education Podcast. Today we have with us Emma from Pine Mount School, Class 11th Science, who just went somewhere on some excursion trip. So she'll tell you all about it. But there are many such excursion trips which keep on happening, and our students are not aware and they don't apply and they miss out on this wonderful opportunity. So Emma, tell us about all this trip which you recently came from, and what was the feeling when you first got selected for that?
So this program is called Sakura Science High School Exchange Program, and three other students were chosen along with me. So there were 4 of us from Meghalaya and 47 of us from all over India, and there were 5 more countries that were with us in this program. Peru, Indonesia, Marshall Islands, Micronesia, and Palau. So these are, especially these are like some countries from the Pacific Ocean. They're very small minorities, but they were invited to this program, and even we were from Meghalaya. So I'm really grateful for that. When I was first chosen for this, actually I was in my English class, and I was talking with my friends, and then suddenly my teacher came in and she was like, "Could I talk to Emma?" I thought I was in trouble. I was like, oh, what's happening? And she asked me, like, "Did you apply for something?" And I was like, "Oh no, I didn't apply for anything." And she's like, "Do you have your passport?" She was just like beating around the bush, not telling me what was happening. She was like, "Do you have your passport?" And I was like, "No, I don't have my passport." But then later she was like, "You're going to Japan." And I was like, because I really like East Asian culture a lot, especially Japanese and South Korean culture. I've always been interested, and so my principal just, without even asking me or my parents, she was just like, "We're sending you to Japan." And I was like, "We have to call my parents first." She's like, they'll allow. So yeah, I was extremely happy, and when I told my friends, they already started making lists what they want me to get from Japan for them, and but I was really excited, and especially since Japan is really high ranked in science and technology, I wanted to learn a lot more, especially since I'm someone who was not too sure with what she wanted to do with her life later on. I think this was a great opportunity to be able to explore what I wanted to do in the future.
Great. So what were the first impressions of Japan?
Oh, very clean.
Very clean.
Very clean.
Okay.
It was when because first we came from Delhi, and Delhi right now it's not the cleanest. And when I arrived in Japan, it was pin drop silent. It was not that late, but even in the airport, here in Delhi, it was so loud. But then compared to in Japan, it was so quiet, and they were so disciplined. And that's a stereotype about Japan, but it's true. It was so quiet, and I think that I didn't even see one single piece of trash on the streets. So there was never any dustbins, but still the street was very clean, and that was my first impression. It was very clean.
Okay, so you visited quite many schools, I think, and universities and other things. So how are their schools different from ours?
So we went to Koshigaya Gita High School in Koshigaya, Saitama Prefecture. It was, the students are students. They are still human. They're just like us, but they were very quiet compared to us. Japanese people are very shy, and they don't wear school shoes. They bring their own shoes. They have indoor shoes, so they change into these shoes when they come to school, and then they change into other shoes when they go outside. We were also required to change our shoes.
Why is that?
To keep the inside clean.
Clean, yeah.
It was very clean also, their school. The classrooms were, maybe if you could search up on Google and all, it was exactly like that. It was looking like maybe what you would see in anime or something if you watch anime. And
was it better infrastructurally?
yes,
course,
it was.
yes.
Of course it was. And
But how much better was it?
that would be bringing down my own school.
No, it's okay. We need to share this.
Yeah. It was very clean, and it was. Yeah, I think that being clean is just a really big thing for me, because in the schools here, we are not as disciplined as the Japanese people. So we tend to just, I mean, even after multiple warnings, we would just throw trash everywhere, and maybe they would just spit kwai somewhere, but you won't find that there in Japan. So the buildings were, maybe it was around this much size. The size was not that big. The campus was very nice. I didn't really get into the main part of the school. We were mainly in the, I think, cafeteria. So that was where we had the program. We were required to sit with a few Japanese students from, they have like 3 grades, which is like the equivalent of class 10, class 11, and class 12. So they were in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. So first we sat with grade 2, then grade 1, then grade 3 students. We had like a few icebreakers, and we were telling each other like about where we come from. But there was a huge language barrier. I think I experienced the language barrier everywhere I went in Japan, because a lot of them cannot speak like English, like even a tiny bit. So whenever I went, I would have to speak a little Japanese. And most of the time, they would also think I was Japanese, so they would just talk to me like that. But I'm like,
You
no,
learned Japanese before going?
just a little bit, just
Okay.
enough to get by.
Or was it Google Translate?
Yes, I also use Google Translate, but we did not have internet. Actually, our supervisors, we gave this portable Wi-Fi to one of the students. But whenever we went to, like, we were spread out, he would go somewhere else, and we would not get the Wi-Fi. And I was like struggling to translate, and I'll just be like, this one, how much? Signing them.
Yeah.
So that was one thing, and but they were really sweet, and they really tried.
Even the
Japanese
school students were not knowing
Yes,
English? I
yes.
mean,
It was made a compulsory subject last year, English, if I'm not wrong, in
Okay.
Japan. But you cannot just learn English like that, especially for Japanese students. English is a very hard language for those who don't speak it already. So, but they tried as much as they could. There were some who could speak a little bit more, but yeah, and when we ate lunch, we were paired with one Japanese student each. So I was number 50, and there would be a Japanese student who had the same number as me. Then we would eat lunch together. So I was paired with someone. She was Koto, so I call her Koto-san for respect. And we ate like on the stairs, and all of us were. It was really fun. We were speaking about like what we like anime, K-pop, all those things. If there wasn't a language barrier, I think we would have gotten along very well with the Japanese students.
what about the teachers there?
I couldn't meet any teachers. We did not meet any teachers, but we got one a lecture from a very prominent scientist. His name was Kuromizaka Hitoshi. He's a very accomplished scientist. So he gave us a lecture about DNA and its structure. It was. He also made a few songs. He does a lot of his research on like nucleosomes. So he made a song about nucleosomes, and he showed it to us. Actually, if I'm being honest, all of us were feeling very sleepy. Also, he was not that good in English too, so it was hard for us to understand. So we were kind of feeling sleepy. Then suddenly on the screen, he started displaying his song, and it was in English also. So we were all like interested and intrigued. After that, we started listening to his lecture a little bit more. But it was very nice. You could find it on YouTube. You could search up nucleosome song. Maybe it'll come up.
But how were their classrooms? I mean, was it a major difference with us, or like?
I didn't really get to see the classrooms very well because we were mainly in the cafeteria. But when I did go to the washroom, it was very different from us. Maybe not that different, but different from my school, because my school is quite old. So we have a few old things in our tables and all. But for them, the tables were very new.
Okay. So other than the school, you went to so many places. So you want to share about that?
So we also went to many universities. So on the first day, we went to Kazusa DNA Research Institute. So I think one of the first research institute that was dedicated for DNA only in Japan. We were given a lecture on DNA again, and we had this experiment. We extracted DNA. I think we do that practical here in school too, but it was different there. So we got a chance to experiment ourselves, and they showed us how to extract DNA from broccoli ourselves at home using detergent and all the things that we already had. It was very nice, and the professors also struggled to talk with us in English. I think that's
So in
something.
college also it's all in Japanese.
I actually asked about that, but they said it's not.
Okay.
I don't know. It's kind of confusing, but they said that because I was also considering if there's any classes that are given with English, but they did not say anything about that. They just said
Because I'm sure there are a lot of international students
yes,
who
there are
go there.
many. Yes, we met many in Saitama University. So we met. There's a lot of Indonesian students studying in Japan actually, and they're also in India from India. We met one person. He's also a very successful person, Sir Rahul Bharti. He was studying in Saitama University, and he gave us a few lectures about how we should study in Japan if we get the chance to. It was very nice. We met many Indian students who were studying in Japan also.
Okay. Other than this DNA Institute, any other
Oh
place?
yes, Tokyo University. This one we didn't really have anything. We just went inside the campus and we went around. It was a huge university, and we went inside the canteen. Because we were very hungry, so we went inside, and there were many like restaurants and all. Even in the canteen, is like as big as my school. Maybe it was a very big place, and. But we didn't get to see anything much in Tokyo University, just going around the campus. Then we went to Saitama University. Then I think I already talked about Saitama University. We got a few lectures about, we were divided into groups. So I was in this group that got a lecture about AI and virtual reality and how you could mix them together. Very interesting. And then I think we went to other places that are not only for educational purposes, just sightseeing Japan.
Okay, great. So overall, from Japanese culture, what did impress you? I mean, you talked about cleanliness and discipline and how quiet they were. Any other aspect of Japanese culture which impressed you?
Japanese culture it's not very different from what we see here in the Northeast.
Okay.
It's one thing that it was not that different for me, other than the fact that it was very clean and that they are very punctual people, very punctual. So we were late quite a lot of times, especially the India group. I think one girl she woke up like after the reporting time. We had to go to her hotel room and open it with the master key.
Oh, wow.
But other than that, we tried to stay as punctual as possible, but it was not that different. They're very respectful people, and they're very kind, and they will smile at you every time.
Did you get to see any rural parts of Japan?
Yes. I'm not too sure. We were just on the bus the entire time, but when we went to that DNA Institute, it was quite far off in the suburbs, so that's what we saw. It's very green, green, and it was autumn time there, so the leaves were very beautiful, very they were different colors, brown, yellow. Some of them were still green, obviously, but it was beautiful.
Okay. So how has this trip changed your perception of science?
Actually, before I always thought that I would have to pursue something with physics, maybe, but most of the things that we were shown in Japan were related to biology, and I think that really sparked my interest in biology, and especially DNA, because we had so many lectures about DNA. It really made me realize that all these things that they showed me, we went to many museums also, that if humanity kept on trying, we could really get so far with science. It's amazing. I mean, like all of these things that they invented, although some of them I might say they kind of seemed useless, but it's still really nice to know that you could make that if you wanted to. So it was, I think I would like to be able to see the world.
So you'll pursue a career in science?
Yes.
Okay, okay, great.
I hope so.
So you had a peer group, like 47 people went from India.
Yes.
So how was that experience? How were the interactions, and did you learn anything from them?
Yes. So 47 from India. There were only a few from the Northeast, and I was quite different from them. because I'm from the Northeast. I kind of struggled to become friends with them at first, but once I did become friends with them, I made a lot of friends. They were very nice people, and although we were different, they were very willing to learn about my culture, the Khasi culture, the Mizo culture, whatever it is, they were interested. It was really nice to be able to share my culture with my peers from other states. But I don't think all of us became friends. There were too many people.
Yeah,
So we were actually divided into
too short a time.
Yeah, into two buses. There was bus 1 and bus 2. So I was only really close with the bus 2 people because we spent so much time together. Yes.
Great. So how important are such trips where you go somewhere out of your state, let's say, during school time, school days? How important is it?
I think it's very important to be able to have exposure to, because this world is so big, especially if you're going to be confined in a place like Shillong for so long. You may think that the career options are so less, or you have such there's no hope for you in this world, but there's so much more. This world is so big, it has so much to offer, and I think we should all be able to have a chance to see for ourselves and explore what we want to do. So I think it's very important.
Great. So Japan is known for like advanced technologies, right? I mean, they're like doing weird things with the robotics and all. Did you get to see something of that?
Yes, so we went to a museum called Miraikan, and Mirai means future in Japanese. And there were so many futuristic things there. There was this robot, it was a very cute, huge robot. And if we showed them these, I forgot what they were called. They are signs, basically. So if you hold up this sign that says wink, it will wink at you. If it says to wave, it will wave at you. It was very cute. And there were they showed us this AI suitcase. Actually, one of the directors of Miraikan, she is a blind woman. So yeah, and they invented this so that it could help them navigate blind people. So they
suitcase.
Yes, a suitcase. Okay. It would when you're within that proximity, it would explain what you are currently not seeing, but around. Yeah. Yes. So I didn't really get to see that up close, but they told us about it. And there was also these robots in the malls, the dogs, very cute. You could just pet them. They were just there on display. I don't know if they were for sale. Maybe we could buy it. I could have bought it, maybe, if I had enough money.
Okay. Great. So can India be this advanced? What do you think in the next 10 years?
If we could suddenly grow to be a very disciplined society, maybe. But I think that why Japan is so advanced also is because they try to stay rational and disciplined. Discipline is so important. That's what I realized in Japan. Because you may just sometimes think that maybe I just won't do this for a while. I'll do it later. But that's what makes us slow down as a society. I think we could definitely do it. India has so many bright minds, but we are not using them correctly.
Great. So, in Meghalaya, what I've seen is that many youth, they hesitate to go out of the state, be it for exposure, be it for work. And so I want you to give a message to school students and youth regarding this, going out and exploring.
Don't be scared. It's not going to be as scary as you think. Maybe I think most of them are scared because of the culture here. We cannot really leave our family that early. Especially the youngest, they have to stay with their parents to take care of them. That's how the culture is. But if they choose to do that, I respect that. But if you do have the opportunity to go out and study, if you think you are smart enough, if you think you are capable, please try your best, because you could achieve so much in this world if you really tried. Don't let your fears stop you. That's what I have to say.
Great. Thank you, Emma. I hope everyone has learned a lot about the importance of going out and exploring. This Japan trip was just for 7 days, and they have learned so much, the whole group, and it changes your perspective. So I have seen these kind of changes in so many students who have went out and explored on these trips. So keep a lookout on such opportunities and take them when you get them. Thank you for watching. Kuble Shibun, Mithila.